I'm Trish, and today I want to show you how to pack with carry-on only to go abroad. So the first thing is, you're asking, why would I want to do that? Well, there's a few reasons. First, I want to start with just the ease of getting through an airport. When you get to the airport, you're going to have to check your luggage. Once you check your luggage, you may not get it back. So that's the first reason. The next one, when we're coming in from an international flight, we're going to have to make our connect to domestic. At that point, you'll have to unload your plane, make it through customs, then you're going to have to go get your luggage again, hopefully it arrives, and then you're going to have to take that, finish your customs check, recheck it, make it through TSA, and then move from your international terminal to your domestic terminal. And you may not make your flight. We don't get a lot of time in between, and that in itself can take a couple hours. So we want to try to make that process as easy as possible. The next thing is that the hotels are mostly stairs with no elevators. So you would have to be carrying that up and down multiple times depending on how many hotels we stay at. Also, the hotels are placed inside the cities. Therefore, when the buses pull up, they're too big to make their way through the small areas, so you'll have to carry your luggage down about probably 15-20 minute cobblestone roads. And then lastly, if you're carrying several weeks worth of clothes on you, your luggage is going to stink. And the hotel rooms are small, so it's really best to think carry on only. Now, what I want to do is show you how I've done it. I've already packed for a trip for Europe. Let's talk about the outside of my bag. The first thing I have is my little sleep pillow here, okay? This one happens to be a sloth, and the reason I wanted to show you this one is you need to sleep on the plane, because if you don't, when we get there, you probably have about 8 hours of a tour right away, and you're going to feel like a sloth if you don't use your sleep pillow. The next thing is I always bring my snacks. The domestic flight probably won't have food on it, so you'll want to bring some food for that and for the layover. I always have my empty water bottle. When you get to the airport, we'll tag your bags with a red piece of tape. This helps us identify your bag very quickly. When we're moving around, sometimes a bag kind of gets set to the side. Quick identification. Make sure that you have your name tag on it. And I always carry a TSA approved lock. This is mostly for the inside of the hotel room. That way when I leave, if they don't have a safe, I'm able to lock my bag. Let's go ahead and talk about what I've already packed inside. This bag is not even fully packed. A standard carry-on for Europe is 21 by 9 by 14. I actually pack a little smaller, just easier for me to get around. So what I've packed in here, and I just want to show you how much space I have left for souvenirs, is my outfits. So I use Ziploc bags. I'm going to show you a couple ways of packing to make it more efficient. But this right here has 5 dresses already rolled up in it. And ideally that would be what I would bring. Plus I would obviously be wearing a light sweater, one of my outfits, and my biggest shoes on the plane. So remember, you're packing and wearing one of the items. The next thing is my personal items and my jammies. So I have those in here. I usually pack roughly for 5 to 7 days at the most. They have laundry service, they have washing machines, or you can wash in the sink if you need to. The next thing I carry is my camera. As a photographer, that's a necessity, but I pack very light. I have my favorite camera with my favorite lens, and I just wrap it in a scarf. That way it's not very bulky. Obviously my maps. If it's going to be rainy, I will bring this. I personally don't like these. I prefer disposable ponchos. This way it can go over my bags or my camera gear, and then when I'm all done, I can toss it. So I always carry that. I carry my second favorite hiking shoes. And what I want to show you about this is in here, I have the shoe, I have extra clean foot pads that I've already cut to size. I always bring an extra pair, and then I also have clothing dryer sheets in here to make it smell better, and I get everything nice and tight with rubber bands. Spare snacks, my personal items that I need that are not liquid, makeup, everyone needs some spackle, right? I make sure it's all downsized. The brushes, everything, very, very small in size. You will be in a warm climate. Your makeup may melt off your face. You don't need a lot. Maybe consider waterproof mascara. The next thing I bring is my office kit, and inside my office kit I'll bring things like extra Ziploc bags. I always have extras, a notepad or a sticky note in case I need to leave a note on someone's door, a student if I need them to do something. I always bring extra pens, highlighters. I always bring a pencil and I put the tape wrapped around it so it keeps it nice and small in case I need some tape. And I also bring a ball so I can massage my feet at night. This is super handy. Your feet take a big beating. I have some bubble wrap, and I even carry with me these little things here that you can just get at the grocery store. And if you need to, I use them for my cords and things like that, so those are really handy. And then lastly, I always make sure that inside the bag, not just on the outside, but the inside, I have my address and phone number contact. I also have my checklist of all the items that I'm taking on the trip, and then I even color code the ones that are for my daytime activities to make sure at night when I'm repacking for the next day for tour, I remember what needs to go in my day bag. And then I tuck inside a copy of all my credit cards, insurance card, driver's license, and passport in case they get lost. Helps us get them replaced more quickly. So I just tuck that inside, no one would even know it's there. So these are all the items that I need, and that's all I need. So I still have room to do some shopping. So again, the biggest goals here, one is only pack what you need, not what you think you need or what if. We can purchase those items there. And keep in mind, you can do your laundry there, so don't pack anything more than 5 to 7 days worth of items. I take dresses, but you can take clothing such as jeans or maybe capris or even shorts. Pack your clothes need to be loose fitting, very breathable and lightweight. It will be very hot there, so you want to make sure you're comfortable, maybe for every day, about 12-hour days in the heat. Make sure that you keep in mind, like I mentioned, that you can do laundry there and purchase items, and that your shoes are, one, well worn. Buy them now, wear them a lot, maybe slip some socks on, get them really well worn. Your feet will swell during the day, so you want to make sure the shoe is a little loose when you start your day, so that as your feet swell, you'll still be comfortable. They need to be breathable and, like I mentioned, roomy. So those are some of the things I keep in mind when I'm packing. Okay, now I want to mention when we are going to the airport, let me just put these down here, you're allowed one carry-on and you're allowed one personal item. And that can be anything from a purse, a satchel, a side bag, or even a very small backpack. So I carry this satchel. I can fit everything in here, including a full-size turkey. So this works really good for me, not only on the airplane, but every day trip. When I'm getting on the airplane, I always make sure that I have all my cords. I have my extra chargers in here. I even have my sunglasses because I know I'll need them right when I get there. And anything else I need, maybe some contacts, things like that. Warm socks so that my feet stay warm on the plane. I bring tissues, little disposable toothbrushes, wet wipes to keep my hands clean. I always make sure that I have lip balm and a little aquifer. Always some snacks. Regardless on the plane or every day on our tour, you need to have snacks on you. You never know when your lunch or dinner will be, so you need to make sure that you take care of yourself. I always have a notepad to take notes. I also go ahead, right before I leave, I write who I'm shopping for. That way I stay on task. I always buy items very small, often at the airport before I depart because they have great deals. I don't lug it around. Candy and chocolate won't melt, things like that. Already have my euros ready to go. I always bring my lanyard. The day of travel, you've got a lot of stuff and you're digging around. Instead, what I do is I just carry this. I slip it into my outfit, and then I've got my passport, my plane ticket, everything I need right here, and I don't have to be fumbling around. I have empty spaces here, but I would maybe carry my empty water bottle right here. So that's all I take on the plane, and that's all I need for my trip. Okay? Now I know you're still thinking, no, she can't do that, that's not enough. I want to show you how to pack your clothes to make it fit into something like this. First of all, this is just a 1-gallon Ziploc bag. There's 2 pairs of jeans. The trick is rolling, okay? The other thing is, here I packed for my husband. He's not going, but I thought I'd go ahead and pack him. He's got 2 pairs of shorts, and then he has 4 shirts, plus he would be wearing one of the outfits. So that would be all he needs for the trip. I love 1 gallon, and I also love the very large Ziploc bags. These are great. I always carry spares on me. These, though, are the bags that you do the compressed air. And what I have in here are 2 pairs of jeans and 6 shirts. And all I've done was laid them flat. Then I just kind of lay down on it and press the air out, and I zip it. I always leave a gap so I can fold it and it'll fit in my bag. This is a great way to travel. You could carry 2. One for your clean clothes and one for your dirty clothes. And then when you have time to wash your clothes, you could then, they would stay separate and they don't stink up your bag, because that's always a problem. But I usually use the rolled kind. And I just want to show you how easy it is to roll something. So here is a dress. You would fold it in half. Make sure it becomes the size of the Ziploc bag. Okay? Simple. And just get it as tight as you can. And all of a sudden, something that seems big gets super duper small. And I could easily pack 5 or 6 of these, have enough dresses to wear a couple times on my trip, and I'm good to go. So these would just be put into my Ziploc bag. And then lastly, I want to show you this. This is it's a scale. You would just hook it onto your bag to check the weight. Carry-on is 26 pounds or less, so you would just test it like that. Whenever you're going on other trips and you're allowed to take a checked bag, it's 50 pounds. And many people overpack and then have to pay $100 to $200 per bag just because the bag's too heavy. So this is a great item to purchase. It's not very expensive. It's less than $10. So I hope that you give this a try. My tip is practice. Go ahead, pack for a week and just live out of that bag at home, and then see if you can do this, okay? And then you're gonna start seeing you pack too much stuff and stuff you don't need. So again, our goal is we only pack what we need. Good luck. Okay, so now I want to just talk to you about how to pack your bag for the daytime. You will wake up in the morning, you will have breakfast, and then you're going to start your tour. And when you leave, you will carry on you everything you need all the way up, generally through dinner. And for some, we might even do night photography, so even later. So you need to pack for the entire day. My recommendation is when you get back to your hotel room at night, you dump your bag out and you repack it to make sure everything you need is in there. Everything is charged. And also keep in mind using the check sheet that I had mentioned in the packing. That way every time you make sure you have exactly what you need. So this is my day bag. This is what it looks like. And I have some spare room. I usually carry my water bottle right here. I always make sure that I have a little bit of sunblock. I put it on every morning, but make sure you bring spare. I like the solid so it doesn't ooze everywhere. You're going to want gum and mints, right? Okay. Then I always bring, if the weather shows some rain, I've got my poncho ready. It'll cover my camera and my bag. And then inside of my bag, I always carry my camera. Now my camera generally will be in my arms, but for right now, here it is. I also carry a few items that I need that are like my spare battery I already charged. I also have my day charger. I actually carry 2 of those. Any cords I need. If I need a spare plug, I bring that. I bring spare contacts. And I always have Dramamine on me and my lip balm. So those are a couple of the items I always have in my bag. For my little care kit, I also still have my little toothbrush, some tissues, some wet wipes, things that I might need as the day goes. I also, more wet wipes, I also carry a little tiny bag of the medications I might need through the day. Things like I had mentioned, Dramamine, motion sickness medicine, maybe some type of Advil or aspirin. I always carry Pepto-Bismol. You never know how your routine and your change in diet is going to make your tummy feel, so I always make sure I have it. And I even have a little note here that tells me which color is which, so I carry those during the day. Yep, you got it. I have my snacks, and I also have my money. I have plenty of euros on me for the day, and then I also carry my passport on me, and my notepad, and lastly, a light sweater. That way, at night, if I do get chilly, I can put this on. If I go into a church and my shoulders are bare, I can put it over my shoulders because we want to be respectful of their customs. And the only other reason I actually carry my scarf is if I happen to be wearing something that shows my knees, I can wrap it and cover my knees. So again, in churches, we make sure that we don't show our shoulders or our knees. And that is actually all I carry. And by the end of the day, after 2 weeks, I'm not sore from carrying a bag that's too heavy, right? Oh yes, Band-Aids, blisters, and that's it. There we go. So now I am ready to go to Europe and have an amazing time. You got it. Time to start increasing our physical activity. So we don't have much longer until we leave for an amazing trip. So one of the things I need you to start doing is planning for our everyday activity, which is walking. So ideally, you need to increase your activity. And it can be something really simple, like walking a little bit more. Start walking staircase a couple times. You could go to the gym, but you don't need to. You just need to start moving. Plan for uneven terrain. It's very cobblestone roads or walkways all throughout Europe. It seems like it's uphill both ways, and you want to make sure that you're able to sustain energy, for a 12-hour day, sometimes 1 to 2 weeks in a row. We will be taking breaks throughout the day, having lunch, gelato, maybe some coffee, things like that, but you will have full days of activity, so it's important to be prepared. If you're going to do something new, make sure you talk to your doctor. With that, when we're talking about increasing activity, is walking. One thing that I do recommend as you practice walking is wearing the shoes you're going to have on the trip. These are my all-time favorite shoes. I wear them every time I travel. I have 2 favorite pairs, and I always make sure I take both. The reason is, when your feet swell, you'll start getting rub areas, and so by alternating your shoes, you're going to have less areas that get blisters. Or if a pair happens to get wet, they can be drying while you're wearing the other one. So well-worn shoes are very important. Now, if you happen to get blisters, and a lot of people do, is you can get moleskin, you can use a standard Band-Aid, or you can even get the blister gels. This is an item I would definitely bring with you. That way, once it starts, you can stop it right away, and I carry those in my day bag, okay? The next thing is I want to talk to you about food. You need to be carrying snacks on you every day, maybe 1 to 2 snacks. Sometimes I just bring little power bars. I might bring a mixed nut. And the one thing I eat every day are pumpkin seeds, and these are extremely high in fiber. That way, as your diet is different, you're not going to feel as constipated. So make sure that you increase your fiber intake so that you're not uncomfortable. The next thing is if you're lactose intolerant, you're not going to find anything for your coffees there that aren't milk-based, generally. So if you are, one of the things you can bring with you that pack really small is maybe, some of the individual creamers. So pre-think that in case you need it. The next thing is everything needs to be small. Downsize everything. So make sure that you get some containers that you can put your liquids in if you need to bring them. The hotel has shampoo, it has body wash, and it has lotion. So ideally you don't need those items. They don't have cream rinse, so I do bring a solid bar of cream rinse. It looks kind of like a deodorant, and that works great. Otherwise, I don't bring any of the other items. I actually don't even bring this because I don't need it, but you could use these. They even make them smaller because you don't need very much. The other thing I want to mention is, like, for myself, I like to wear dresses. So sometimes people complain that it can be uncomfortable. So a few tips. There's a product called Glide. I use this when I'm running long distance. You would just roll it wherever you're going to rub, and it's really smooth and slick, and it'll help you from getting chafing. The other thing you can do is I always just throw a pair of running shorts underneath my dress, and then there's no rubbing. And or if a gust of wind comes, I'm prepared. So anyway, the next thing is, what kind of plugs do you need? You're going to need the double plug. It looks like this. Just, you know, go online, type in, you know, plug for Italy, and you'll find it. This one here is if you need to have the ground on it. So that is one extra one you can use. If you don't want to spend a lot of money, just get the plug you need. If you want and you plan on traveling a lot, you would get the multi that has every country in it, okay? Hotels in Europe generally don't have alarm clocks. So often you would either use your phone, which it might use up your battery. You could bring a travel clock or just have the front desk set what time you want to wake up. Now these are adapters. An adapter is just to change what the plug looks like when you go to put your item in it. You know, like maybe your phone cord or something. If you are bringing a blow dryer, a curling iron, a straightening iron, any of those kinds of items, you actually need a converter. And then what we're doing is going from the 220, moving it down to the 110 for Europe. They already have a blow dryer, you don't need it. You don't need to curl your hair. Often the converters don't work. What happens is they spark, they turn off the electricity, problems happen. So these, no. Okay, so we're just gonna have all natural hair. My other favorite things are rubber bands. Get a small bag, or the twist ties. I rubber band everything to make it smaller. And like I mentioned, some of the tips is making sure that you bring the extra pads for your shoes. It keeps them smelling good, and then when you're on those uneven surfaces, you still have the squish. And make sure you always have the good smelling dryer lint sheets in everything, so everything smells good. And again, you can see how I've used the rubber bands. And I can't say enough, Ziploc bags, roll your clothes, stick them in here, or you could, if you want to spend a little more money, get the compressed air ones. I actually usually just do the Ziploc bag. So those are definitely some tips to help you with your trip. Thank you.